to jasonnewland.com. My name is Jason Newland, and this is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. And today, ladies and gentlemen, it is Q&A Friday. Yeah. Hello. It is Friday, the 17th of October, 2025. 2025, yes. Hope you're well. Oh dear, oh dear. Now, I am not making a video of this. Again, it just took so much time to do the editing and all that stuff. I really couldn't be bothered to do it anymore. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad if I was getting, because I uploaded it, if I was getting like loads of visits to the video as opposed to the podcasts that uploaded. That'd be different, you know, if I suddenly had thousands of video views of that particular video. But I didn't. No, I didn't. So, don't worry, that's it. It's just my cardigan. I don't know, plus the backdrop's not great. It's that wall, it looks mouldy, although it's not. It's just the felt on the back of where the soundproofing used to be. And also, it's not really related, but I had the council come round today to fix the front door, or to make it compatible to make it compatible with the government fire safety regulations or something like that. And they knocked on my door at 8:15 this morning. I knew they were coming around between 8 and 8:30, but I was listening to yesterday's recording and I fell asleep. And then I was woken up, and Vinny, if the door doesn't wake me up, Vinny will, because he hears everything. So they come in, they don't come in, but they sort of, I said, do you need me to move the stuff away from the door? Because I had a ladder and a few little bits and bobs, a Ferrari, just normal stuff. Sewing machine. And he said, yeah, if you can move that away from the front door, that'd be nice. I said, okay. And I did. And he said, can you keep it open? I said, no. You want me to stand here? He said, no. Have you got anything to keep your door open? I said, no, I've got nothing. He said, what about a door stop? I said, I've tried that, but it just keeps closing. He said, what? I said, no, I've told the door to stop, but it won't. He said, no, that's not what I mean. But I think he felt sorry for me, and it was early in the morning, and he realised I'd just woken up. Because he did say, you're still a bit tired, aren't you? I said, yeah. So he gave me a little cuddle, and he just said, look, just go back to have a little sleep if you want. Go and have a nap, and I'll just do the door, and, I'll let you know when it's finished. I said, oh, thanks. So there was another bloke with him, and I think it was his dad. I don't know. It might not have been. It was someone. He did all the work. And they basically, I don't know what they've done, but they've done something to it to make it more it should stop the cold from getting in, apparently, and also if there was to be an emergency situation, it would stop anything from getting into through the door as well, such as smoke or whatever. So okay, and it is definitely opening and closing it seems more secure than it was before. And then, but the thing is, the problem is, right, I'm sitting here waiting for them to be finished because two things I needed to do. One is take Mr. Vincent out into the park, and secondly, I needed a toilet. And I don't feel comfortable being in the toilet when there's someone working on the front door, or even if someone was in the kitchen, fixing the boiler or whatever. I don't really feel comfortable. I just like to keep my pants on when there's someone else in the flat. It's just one of those things. So I was kind of holding it, and I wanted to go. And in the end, I had to. I had no choice. The problem was, Vinny was in here with me in the living room, and he was getting agitated. He really was, because all he wanted to do was go out and see them. And he'd calm down for a little while, and then he'd start barking again. So I managed to get out the front door to go to the toilet. Vinny was barking like I'd left him, which I hadn't. So I don't know what the people fixing the front door would have made of what they were hearing, because they would have heard him barking, me with a big echo being in the bathroom saying, "It's all right, Vinny, it's okay. I'm not leaving you, I won't be long." And then intermittent, I was going to say splashes, whatever other sounds there was, So, I don't really want an audience for that stuff. Anyway, so I did what I needed to do. Let's not focus on that. But then we got to 9:30, and I'm thinking, this is taking a long time. So I went and said, I went and got dressed. Well, I did have clothes on, but I went and put my shoes on and put my coat on and said, I got to go out. I got to take my dog out. I didn't say Vinny because he didn't know him. He doesn't know Vinny. I said, I got to take my dog for a what's it. And he said, well, we're nearly finished. It'll only be about 10 or 15 minutes. Can you wait? I said, no, I can't. But he said, but why? I said, look, he's a dog. He's been holding it in. He hasn't been since, 8 o'clock last night or whatever. He needs to go to the toilet. He said, but can't you just wait 10 minutes? I said, no, I can't. He said, but I'm going to need the key to check the lock. I said, well, I'll leave you the key. Just, I've got my own key as well, so I've got 2 keys. So I'll leave you 1 key. You can just, if you close the door when you've finished, maybe lock the door and push the key through the letterbox, and I've got my own key to get in as well. He said, no. I said, why? What? He said, no, can't do that. I said, well, he said, we're going to be 10 minutes. I need you here. I said, oh. before we leave. I said, okay. Well, what I'll do, I'll go out. I won't go far. I'll just take him for a short, time out. Let him do wee-wees and stuff. And then I'll come back in about 10 minutes. And he said, who else is here? I said, no one. He said, who lives here? I said, me. He said, no, who else? I said, no, just me. He said, who's going to be here when you're gone? I said, no one. It is just me and the little one. I think he didn't feel very... he wasn't pleased that I was leaving him on his own in the flat, maybe. But I had to take Vinny out. There wasn't really an option. He needed to go. And that's got to be annoying, isn't it? Depending upon someone else to go for a wee-wee. It's got to be. You're just staring at me now. I tell you, it's really weird. I think sundown is 8 minutes past 6 p.m. today. It's ridiculous. It's going to be like 4:30 in the afternoon by the end of October. I mean, come on. Really? It's ridiculous. 4:30 in the afternoon. And I should be used to this because I've done a few winters. Well, it's not winter yet, but I've done a few, Octobers over the years. In fact, you could argue, is this my 55th? Or is this my 54th? Or is this my 56th? I'm not sure. 1, 2, yeah, it's my 50... It's my 55th, isn't it? My 55th October. I don't remember the first couple. In fact, I would say that even when I was younger, I didn't take much notice of October, the month. I'd probably say when I was at school, months were broken up by holidays, half term, celebrations and birthdays, things like that. So, Christmas, end of December, that time, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve. But then you got Easter, which is varied. It can be a different Sunday between March and April, whenever they decide to have it. I don't know how they work it out. You got Shrove Tuesday, and that used to be Pancake Day, which I used to get pancakes when I was a kid. It was lovely. And then there's Hot Cross Bun Day, which is Good Friday. So we used to have hot cross buns and a cup of tea. That was nice. And then Easter Day, Easter eggs. You know what I think I might do? Not have any chocolate at all. And then at Easter, have just nothing but chocolate. Oh, I'm not sure how well that would do for me. I don't know. Oh, but I'm craving some sweet stuff. Biscuits or chocolate or cakes, something like that. Not a fizzy drink, funny enough. Got no interest in a fizzy drink. But a nice food that's sweet. But I have nothing at all. I nearly said I have nothing in the parlour, but I'll be honest, I've never used that word, I don't think, in my life. Parlour. Oh, there's not in the parlour. So I'm used to have a Halloween at the end of October. I mean, this still is, isn't it? And then there's November, beginning of November, there's Bonfire Night, Guy Fawkes. And that's it. Well, New Year's Day as well, don't forget, it's a New Year's Day. I mean, technically, New Year's Eve's not a holiday. New Year's Day's the holiday. But New Year's Eve, it's, it's a celebratory time for a lot of people. I keep trying to think and remember whether or not I ever dressed up on Halloween. I've got a really vague memory that I might have dressed as a vampire, because that fake blood, I remember I had some of that fake blood, and I did also have some of the fake fangs, whatever you call them, the vampire teeth. But I don't remember if I had a cape, because I know you don't have to have a cape to be a vampire, but back then you did, because really there's only one vampire, and that was Dracula back then. One famous vampire. But now there's lots of TV shows with vampires. I guess I could have gone as a different type. Could have gone as one of the True Blood vampires. Which is weird because I don't remember any of their names. I loved that show. True Blood. Absolutely loved it. It's a long time ago, but I loved that show. I watched every episode. I got completely hooked. Let's have a quick look at the analytics. Okay. I think with YouTube, it's just going to keep just doing its own thing. So I just need to just chill out. It's quite weird on SoundCloud, on my Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply podcast on SoundCloud. Yesterday I got 3,664 plays, which is weird. That's like way more than I would normally get. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. I'm not complaining, I'm just not sure what happened. Innit? You get me? So today, I'm just looking through. So go to Facebook. Let's see what's there. Let's have a look. Right. So let's have a look. So I've got to find the who likes right. Sorry about this. I'm just trying to find the. I got so many different Facebook groups and stuff. Let's go to Jason Newland's boring group. Did I say only listen when you can safely close your eyes? I hope I did. Right, so what I'm going to do is I want to do a shout out to Cara. And now I'm going to do the Q&A Friday questions. There are 5 5 questions. One of them by me, for some reason. That's weird. Rich, Hope, Robin, Ing. Oh, it's not. It's from Joanne, but it's one that was posted elsewhere. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll start with Rich. Why are there no English restaurants in other countries? There's Italian, Mexican, French, Chinese, Japanese, Indian, etc. But I've never seen an English restaurant. Well, I don't think worldwide English food or English cuisine is necessarily classed as cuisine, maybe. But then if you've got fish and chips where you live, if you have a fish and chip shop, that's English as far as I'm aware. That's like an English kind of thing. If you've got a pie and mess shop wherever you're going, that's an old East London, East End thing. I would say, I mean, in a way, you don't really have any English restaurants in this country. Well, you do, but it's, the average person, if they go to a restaurant and get a takeaway, it's very likely going to be like an Indian, or especially if they live in like a small town, the options are going to be a little bit limited. So where I live, we have pizza, which you could say is that Italian origins. Then you've got Indian restaurants and takeaways. There's Chinese. In fact, let me have a look. If I go to Uber Eats, UK, and just look at the official site. Now, if I was in London, the amount of places would be, I've no doubt, be massive, like massive. But here, when it comes for, let's say, a delivery, you got Chinese, which would, if I put in that, it's, for some reason, there's a pizza place comes up, so I don't know why that would come up, unless they do Chinese pizzas. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Why? So there's Chinese takeaways, but then they've got burger nights, so that's weird the way they're doing this. So there's not a lot of Chinese options in this area. You got fast food. That's the thing there. So, like Crazy Chicken, whatever that is, Subway, In Fry, never heard of that, Brits Grill. Then, I mean, so you got burgers. There's the standard American places. Although McDonald's and I think Burger King won't deliver here. KFC does, but McDonald's used to, but they don't anymore. I've also got Greek food. You've got fish and chips. And let's have a look. GDK, whatever that is. Oh my cod. That's a chip shop. That sounds good. WTF. It's a burger place, apparently. So this, Greg's. You can get deliveries from Greg's, KFC Stanway, Pizza Night Plus, Greg's, wonderful Greg's, KFC. So there's a few different things. You got a barbecue place as well, delivery. There's a place here, Harvester. So I would say Harvester would be probably, to me, as a very kind of, I'm going to use the term working class person, like low level. I'm not like high in society. Technically, I don't work, so I'm not working class, but I always did work. A roast dinner would be an English meal. Something like lasagna would be an English meal, even though it wouldn't, is it from Italia as well? And burgers would be an English meal, burger and chips. And I had burger and chips when I was a kid, long before I ever even knew what McDonald's was. That's how old I am. No, it's just how long it took for a McDonald's to be opened up anywhere near where I lived. I think the first McDonald's that opened up in the town that I grew up when I was a teenager, I think that opened up mid-90s. Seriously. So there's a few different chicken places. So if we look, this is making me feel quite hungry actually. And it is eviction night on Big Brother. So maybe Piri Piri, Pepe's Piri Piri, K-Town Chicken. Fireworks are going off outside. ZZ. Whenever I hear ZZ, I just think of ZZ Top. Why is fireworks going off? Vinny doesn't seem to be bothered by it, which is good. If only Vinny realised how much energy and thought I give towards him. Constantly thinking, is he okay? Making sure he's well, making sure he's, just making sure he's okay throughout the day. I'm not always thinking about him, but Three Wise Monkeys. So I would say like a roast dinner. The thing is, you say, Rich, that there's no English restaurants in other countries. I don't know what would be, because I'm thinking about a franchise. You've got like KFC, McDonald's, which is all around the world. Are there any franchise English restaurants? Because if you go to like the upper kind of lifestyle of English life, where some of the top restaurants, some of those, I don't know. I'm going to have to search this. What is in English restaurants? I know I was looking for takeaways because I don't go out. English restaurants in Paris. Let's say Paris. Places to eat in Paris. The 10 best British restaurants in Paris. Down. There's 10. So this one is called L'Entente La British Brasserie. The weather was great and the expanded terrace area was pretty busy. What about the food? A must place to eat if you are in Paris looking for excellent service, beautiful food. The Frog and British Library. What? Frog and roast beef. Teacup. Wow, that's big. The scones were amazing, and the rest. Scones, that's an English thing, like a tea. Scones and cakes and tea and sandwiches. I think that's a very British thing. What's that big restaurant? Really famous. It might be a hotel in London. And it costs a lot of money, but you can go to I think they have like two dining times where you can go and have sandwiches and tea. London, is it the Ritz? London Ritz. Tea and scones. Let's have a look. Luxury afternoon tea in London, the Ritz. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at this. Indulge in a slice of the finest British tea tradition and champagne celebration with our afternoon tea experience at the Ritz, London. There are 20 different types of loose leaf tea, so why not sip a glass of champagne to add some extra sparkle to the occasion? One of the most iconic experiences in the world. Better than Niagara Falls? While dining at the Ritz, savour a selection of finely cut sandwiches, freshly baked scones with Cornish clotted cream and strawberry preserve, and a mouth-watering range of exquisitely presented pastries and tea cakes. Tea cakes! Replenished on request. Replenished on request. I like that as in a way of saying if you're greedy, you can add more. Notice they don't put all you can eat. It might be all you can eat, but they don't put all you can eat. I had a friend, he was my boss, and we'd go out once a month to, the Pizza Hut, yeah. We'd go out once a month as a little team. There was only 3 of us. And we'd go to the Pizza Hut, and because it had all you can eat for, I don't know, £12 or whatever it was. So we'd go along. He would literally not starve himself, but he wouldn't have any breakfast. So that he was so hungry that he could eat as much as he could, and he would just stuff it in. And I swear he would have weighed so much more. We had to take him back in a wheelbarrow. He was just, I thought, why put yourself through that? They were nice pizzas though. Enjoy the perfect ending to your luxury afternoon tea experience, savouring our signature Ritz tableside service, which includes 2 generous slices of cake from the Gourodon trolley. That doesn't sound like an English word, does it? Gourodon. Our skilled pastry chefs change the cakes on the menu to perfectly complement the season's flavours, whether you crave an indulgent chocolate treat or a refreshing fruit delight, you can choose your favourite cake and enjoy it to the fullest. Oh, doesn't say. Oh, yes, it does say how much it is. I like that, because you ever go onto a website and it tells you everything about it except the price. Like the one thing you kind of need to know. I need to know how much it is. You can go on and on about how great it is and all the things I get, but how much is it? Email us to find out the cost, or we can organise a callback for someone to speak to you and try and sell you stuff. No, just how much is it? Come on, don't mess around. Afternoon tea prices start from £81 for adults, £59 for children. Start from. I mean, kindly note that we cannot accommodate specific allergies with additional menu items or adjustments on a day. Okay, let's see. Click on book now. See what it offers me. So Tuesday, 2 guests, all times, Tuesday 7th of October. 17th. Oh no, I don't want today. Why is my computer nearly running out? That's weird. There's only 65% battery. So we'll go to a different day. So we go to, it's not Tuesday, today, 17th. So go to 18th. There's no availability, it meets your criteria. Wednesday the 22nd, that's the earliest time, and that's 1:30. And does it say the price you have to pay? Price is 81. Price is 81 and 59 for a child. A child. Kindly note that prices are subject to change. Why? And why would you need 18 different types of loose leaf tea? And also, I know tea is a very incorporated British custom, but it's not from here, is it? It's not really an English thing. It's just something that we've kind of adopted. A nice cup of tea, yeah. Let's have a nice cup of tea. So the Ritz. That's not that much, is it? I mean, if you're going on a date, yeah. Just thinking, if the other person doesn't pay, you pay for both. Mind you, if I wore a school uniform, maybe I could get away with being get down as a kid. Yeah, I think those days are past. I remember I went into, I've told this story millions of times, but someone I worked with, I think he was about 21, we were on our lunch break, and he said, just got to pop and get some shoes. So he went into the shoe shop, I went in with him, and he saw some shoes he liked. He said, I'd like to try them on. Have you got it in a size 9 or whatever size he is? And the person behind the counter said, we can't get that. Well, we can order it, but it's going to take about 3 days, and we will need a deposit. To me, she looked at me, telling me. And I said, why are you telling me that? She said, is he not your son? I said, I'm 31, he's 21. No, he's not my son. Now, he did look young, but But I didn't look old. I didn't look 40 or anything like that. It's like I don't think he looked that young. He probably looked about 15, 16, maybe 17. So, I mean, technically, I suppose if I'd had him when I was 15 or whatever, but it's like, come on. He thought it was hilarious. I didn't. So there are a few restaurants in other countries, like British restaurants, but why is there fireworks today? It's only the 17th of October. Now, I'm not complaining, I'm not. But I do wonder why. Is it a celebration? Is there a religious celebration today that I don't know about? I don't know. Pasties, yeah, that's an English thing, I think. Soup, that's English. There's French restaurants here that sell pasties and a burger. The thing is, burgers, is a burger an American idea though? I don't know if it is. And the way it's, I don't know if it is though. I'm just thinking. What's with his blimmin' fireworks? Stop it. Fish and chips. Yeah. Also, you got places that are kind of. I need to go to one restaurant and just see what they do. Le Fellatio. Oh, that's a mouthful. No, not Lefalilu. 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 So that's in Paris. Let's have a look at the menu. Come on, let's have a look at the menu. All food for nine things to choose from. That doesn't sound like a very good menu, does it? No offence if you work there or if you own it, but I'd have thought that. And you know what? 9 things on the menu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 photographs, rather. But one of those is a dessert. Oh, let's have a look. The menu's coming up. So you got entrails, or not entries, pastels thon, pastels viandes, pastels crevettes. So yeah, I don't know what any of that stuff is. Without a picture, I got no idea. Judy, Macready, Samed, what does that mean? Accompaniments gratuit. Accompaniments gratuit. I don't know what language that is. So I don't know what other ones are in French in France. It just doesn't say what they are. I mean, you could say, well, it does say what they are because it's just told me, but how? I would imagine the person that would want to eat English food would be an English person. I'm one of those, like, why would you go to another country and just eat your own food? I am one of those. I had a conversation the other day with another dog walker. It's Archie's mum. And I said to her, do you know if that Chinese takeaway's opened up again because it closed down? Well, it was temporarily unavailable. She said, why? I said, well, I could just really do with a Chinese meal, a takeaway. And she said, oh, what would you get? I said, omelette and chips. And she started laughing at me. She said, that's not Chinese. I said, well, it is. That's where I get it from. Omelette and chips, I get it from the Chinese takeaway. Where else am I going to get an omelette and chips from? She couldn't answer that. And she said, why don't you just make it yourself? I said, I don't know how to make it myself and have it come up edible. I technically know how to do an omelette, but to have it actually be eatable is a different thing. Menu, let's have a look. Hope this one's not in German. It is, or it's in some language. No, it's in English. Yeah, or partly English. Fish and chips, €13. Lasagnas, €12. See, for me, I would class a lasagna as being English. I know it's not English origin, it's from somewhere else. I mean, it is Italy, isn't it? Because it's kind of... A lasagna isn't it very similar to tiramisu? Like layered, it's kind of a lot of layers and stuff. In 1991, when I worked in the bakery, but I was working in the kitchen, the chef actually taught me how to make a lasagna, but I was making like huge lasagnas, probably 2, maybe 3, because there was hundreds of people like working that place. Admittedly, most people would... Was I there for lunch? Yeah, I was there for breakfast and lunch, so that would be for lunch. People had different things. Some people had sausages and chips, but would have a lasagna pretty much every day. Sometimes like curry and things like that. But he taught me, and I did it for him. So I'm not saying that I did it for him. I mean, I took that responsibility on because I just wanted to do something. It was a bit boring at times. So by taking on that meant it was one less thing for him to do, and he could just go and play on the fruit machine. So everyone was happy. And I felt a sense of accomplishment. Fox fillet. Faux fillet. Frittles, salade, nature, fromage, jambo. So I don't know what that is. Oh no, that's different. So frites, salade, salade. And then you've got an omelette. Oh, nature, fromage, jambo. And then you've got confit de canard, saumon grill, steaks. Steaks is an English thing, isn't it? So fish and chips. So this is an English restaurant. So basically, they're saying this is what English people eat: tartare, whatever that is, steak, grill. Then you've got vegetarian, salad, burgers. That's kind of like an English restaurant, an English like that we don't really have here. I don't think we really have. We do, but that'd be like a pub menu, really. So, yeah, I would say. Then you've got the Harvester, which does Sunday roasts, And they also do a breakfast, I think, every morning, which you can. I don't like the breakfast. I don't. Okay, I've got no issue with the breakfast, but I do have an issue with doing the work for them, going up and queuing up and getting each bit and putting it on a plate. I don't like that. I just don't like it. I don't. I just don't. I can't. I can tell you why, but I don't. Just don't like it. I want everything brought to me. I want to sit down and relax and not have to. It's become noisy outside. Squeaky's back. So I just like I like to have it given to me and brought to me on a plate and not have to. It's almost like queuing up at school, or at college. I don't want to do that when I'm in a restaurant, or I mean, Harvester technically is a pub which has got food, I think, and I think they do the same thing with the roasts. You just help yourself. No, I want it brought to me. That's what I think, anyway. So you got a little bit of noise going on in the background. Got some music, and I think they got a disco in the school nearby, and there's some people in the garden. So apologies. I can't do a note about it. I probably would say that when people go abroad, maybe a majority of people who go to somewhere like India, they possibly like Indian food. Or if they go to China, perhaps they like Chinese food, or Mexico. But if you go to a place like that, you can also very likely find a McDonald's or a Burger King or KFC, which is they're the most popular takeout or restaurants in this country anyway. But as far as an English restaurant, well, they are about, but I don't think they advertise them as English restaurants, because they probably not get no customers, maybe. Hope asks, what are your favourite 80s TV shows? Wow. That's a whole show and a whole episode on its own. I tell you what I'll do. I'm thinking maybe for Monday's Boring Objects, I'll talk about my favourite 80s TV shows. More in depth, perhaps, but I'll cover it here. If I was gonna, it'll be like a deep dive, as it were. But if I was gonna choose my favourite 80s show, I'm just scanning through the 80s. 18, Knight Rider. Did Baywatch start in the 90s or did it start in the 80s? I need a list to look at. Okay, I'm going to get a list. So, list. Actually, I already know. Cheers, probably, I would say. List top TV series. during the 80s UK. Right, let's have a look. Only Fools and Horses, yeah. It's just coming up with comedy. There was other shows other than comedy shows, though. Oh, okay, so comedy. Out of the comedy shows, probably Only Fools and Horses. Yeah, Only Fools and Horses. But I also absolutely loved Cheers, and I loved MASH as well. Just looking at drama shows, EastEnders. EastEnders in the 80s, I loved EastEnders. I used to really enjoy watching Woken as well in the evening. London's Burning's another show I used to like watching. Entertainment and variety, Top of the Pops. In a way, if you're going to look at what programme did I watch the most of in the whole of the 80s, it probably would be Top of the Pops. I don't think I hardly ever missed an episode during the whole of the 80s. Maybe once I started working, like in 86, but I think I used to tape it anyway. So yeah, Top of the Pops, Generation Game, Wogan, as I mentioned earlier. I used to like Blind Date as well. It's children's TV and family shows, so there were shows that I watched in. To be fair, it wasn't just the early 80s. I watched kids shows all the way through the 90s as well. Like on a Saturday morning, that is, not in the evening, not like afternoon, but so I watched Grange Hill probably up to maybe the middle 80s. I watched Blue Peter, again, probably up to the middle 80s, maybe a little bit longer. Biker's Grove, I don't remember watching that in the 80s. I watched it in the 90s. Maybe I did watch it in the 80s. Danger Mouse. Oh, I used to love Danger Mouse. So I'd watch that, definitely. The A-Team. That's coming, old children and family shows. So the A-Team, used to love the A-Team. He-Man, Knight Rider, wow, yep. However, I'm going to be a bit quirky here, unusual for me, I know. If I was I'm going to mention some shows I really think were phenomenal. It's weird that Doctor Who's not on here. Doctor Who was a huge show in the 80s, 70s and 80s, 60s as well. Anyway, one of my favourite all-time shows was Sapphire and Steel. Loved that show. So that was about basically these telepathic, telekinetic, time traveling, time distortion people that could, I don't know, it's hard to explain it, to be fair. I watched the show and I read the book and I still can't really explain it, but it's so good. So yeah, that's, even though I can't explain it, I don't understand it, I enjoyed it. I liked watching Was it Friday Night Live? Oh, The Last Resort with Jonathan Ross. That was on about 87, I think. Yeah, I used to actually, when I was probably when I left school, I used to like watching morning TV, like from 6:30 till 8:30 or something. So I used to watch that as well. I just love watching TV. Maybe it was company for me, just having those voices. I don't know. Okay, let's just go and narrow it down to the most popular out of the most 20 watch shows in the 80s. Right. Dallas. Dallas wasn't even mentioned. Dallas was huge. Huge in this country, especially Who Shot JR. I mean, that was 1980. No. Really? Absolutely massive. So EastEnders wasn't around till, I think, 85, 86 time. Only Fools and Horses is the number one. 24.3 million viewers on Christmas Day. So that was one of the most watched TV programs of the 80s. EastEnders, Den and Angie. Then number 4 is Dallas, 1980, 21.5 million UK viewers. To put that into perspective, back then, in 1980, there was probably about 55 million people in this country, if that. And I'm going to check. Population of UK in 1980. $56 million. Population of UK now, 68. The thing is, there's a lot of people that are unaccounted for that they don't know about. Like in London, I've had, not arguments, but I've had these discussions in the past when I said there's probably about 10 million in London, and this friend was saying, nope, there's 8.3 million. I said, okay. There's a lot of people that are not kind of on the record, if that makes sense, that are kind of doing their own thing. Because you can get lost in London. It's quite a good place to just, I was going to say, hide. Not that I've ever done that, but it's a very kind of a place that's, you can pretty much be anonymous in London. It's not a big place, but there's a lot of people there, which makes it big. If that makes sense, I don't know. Blankety blank, Wogan, Last of the Summer Wine, no. Blackadder, I used to like watching that. The Royal Wedding for Charles and Diana, 1981, got 28 million UK viewers. Wow. EastEnders got 30.1 million viewers. That's just ridiculous, isn't it? That's like, what, 3/4 of the population watched EastEnders on Christmas Day. In what year? 1986, sorry. Christmas Day, 1986. Which is weird, because Christmas Day 1986 I would have been living in my stepmom's mother's flat. Yeah. So I'd have turned 16 at that point. Yeah, so I'd been 16 and 4 months old. I know. Wow. I'm going to go as far as... I'm going to go Only Fools and Horses probably for my overall favourite TV show. But favourite TV shows, there's a long list because I was a proper telly banana, you know. I loved TV, just loved it. Whether it was the Muppet Babies, whether it was the Thornbirds, you know, it was some kind of really gritty drama, or boxing, or horror movie, or a cartoon. I seem to enjoy it. Monkey, that used to be on BBC Two, about 6 o'clock. I remember not watching it, but it was on TV when we were peeling off the wallpaper of the living room in the new house. So that would be, 1979? 1979, yeah, about 1979. I remember I was standing on a ladder trying to focus on the wallpaper and the TV at the same time, and had a sponge with water. The water was on the top of the ladder, you know, with the flat bit, and this big sponge, the kind of sponge that you clean a car with, and I was putting the sponge against the wall, against the wallpaper, to make it nice and soft so I could scrape it off easily, and underneath was the plaster. And I remember not everyone did that. Some people just were determined to get it off without getting it wet. And I realised if you get it wet, it takes a little bit of while for it to soak in. But when it does, you can get like whole strips off so easily. But not everyone was patient. And they'd be getting a little bit off at a time. I was like, no, just get it wet. But we can't spend all year doing this. I said, I can. I'm only 9. I've got plenty of time. I mean, I'll still be talking about this when I'm 55. He said, what do you mean? I said, don't. He said, oh, well, you're going to talk about podcasts again, are you? Even though podcasts didn't even exist, the internet didn't exist in 1979. I said, yeah. He said, well, you've done that so many times now. I said, I know, but it doesn't get boring. I still enjoy it. He said, do you though? Really? I said, yes, Daddy. Daddykins. He said, don't call me Daddykins. I said, sorry, Papa. Don't call me Papa. Okay, sorry, Daddy. Don't call me Daddy. I said, all right, Steve. No, call me by the correct name. Dad. That's better. But with a bit less attitude, please, young Jason. Robin asks, do you have a bucket list, and if so, what's on it? Well, I would say my bucket list is... I haven't actually got a list. You know, actually haven't written a list. There's a few things I'd like to accomplish. I'd like to be successful. And I know it's probably not what you mean, but as far as... I'd like to go on some cruises. I'd like to travel the world on cruises at some point. And I'm thinking also it'll give me something to talk about. Do you imagine how much better these podcasts would be if I was actually leaving my home? If I actually went outside and I was on a, you know, the whole build up to getting onto the cruise liner and the, you know, getting into the cabin and moaning about stuff and talking about the food and talking about the people I've met and what kind of restaurants they have and all that stuff. And then the excursions or whatever, where you go to get on land, visiting Greece for the first time and Belgium or wherever, you know, the stop, the cruise liner stops, and just talking about what happened that day. You know, I had my first whatever bit of food from that particular land. That to me sounds like quite a good use of my time, in a sense of it ticks quite a few boxes. It gives me an opportunity to broaden my broaden my horizons, maybe do something interesting, and give me something to talk about. And it seems like a good way to spend my time. I'm not talking about all the time. Vinny's trying to get my attention. Vinny, you've got your dinner over there. It's been there for hours. Just because you're not eating it, it's not my fault, is it? It's not, no. So yeah, I think that's one of the things I would like to do. Probably one of the big things I would like to do. I don't have a huge amount of goals anymore. There's the goal of getting the most. I want to get the largest audience I can, reach the most amount of people I can, and hopefully help the most amount of people that I'm able to. So, you know, whether it's falling asleep or just feeling a bit less lonely, whatever the benefits are to each individual person from listening to my squeaky voice. And yeah, other than that, I mean, I thought about writing a book, but I'm not even that bothered about doing that, to be honest. I feel like, in a way, I'm telling my story. Mr. Flappy is there. In a way, I'm telling my story every time I make a recording. I'm telling a little bit more about myself, maybe, and what's happened. And I guess in some ways, the writing my book would be up to someone else to do, to go through the transcripts, which are easy to get hold of. I mean, all my recordings are available, so you could just transcribe them and put together a book. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I suppose I could do it myself. It just would take so long. So I would say a bucket list would be, and I think it would be on cruises. I think that's my preferential way to travel, is to go on cruises. I'd also like to travel around this country and visit dog-friendly hotels and stay in them and talk about them, and, you know, just talk about the area and stuff. And maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure if I'd be up to doing that, but I quite like the idea of like being on a cruise ship, but then I don't have to move around a lot. I can you know, with my back in that, I can kind of rest. And if I'm not feeling that I want to do lots of walking and stuff when I get to the different countries, then I don't have to get off the boat if I don't want to. Or I can just get off and just go and have a cup of coffee and then get back on the boat. So, you know, I think my mountaineering climbing days are probably in the past. Yeah. But it would be nice. It'd be nice to do that, just to travel. Nowhere a long way away to start with, maybe just local, like the British Isles maybe, and then maybe expand into perhaps parts of Europe, and then one day maybe do a tour of the Americas, and maybe, you know, eventually do a worldwide tour. That's a long way off, because I can't do that while I've got my little one here. And I couldn't leave him for, even if I found somewhere to leave him, I couldn't leave him for like 6 months or a year or 10 months. You know, if I left him, it would only be for a couple of weeks at the most, I think. But I would have to find somewhere for him to stay. I got a couple of ideas of where he could stay, but, you know, in fact, I've got 3 places where he potentially could stay. He's got his mum, but I'm not sure where the land lies there, because there's another dog that's there, and Vinny and the other dog don't really get on very well. And then he's got an uncle who he loves. But he's currently not got his own place. But when he gets his own flat, Vinny could go and stay there with him. I mean, he absolutely adores him. I mean, he adores Vinny, but Vinny, you should see him when he's just... He doesn't do that for many people, but he absolutely loves him. So that's a potential. Another way of doing it would be potentially to get someone to stay here for 2 weeks. And my laptop is just shut down, which is not great. The laptop's just shut down. Oh, really? I got no idea what the other questions were. It's making all this noise. I don't want it to make noise. I'm sorry, everyone. Please forgive me. See, it's 5:42, so 18 minutes to 6, and it's dark inside already. And a weird thing about it. Okay, right. Let's move this. He can't even see me. He's trying to look at me in a camera, but it's too dark, and I can't see where the numbers are for me to log in. Okay, got it. According to this, there's 5% available. That's weird. How long have I been talking then? Okay. An hour and 20 minutes. It just goes so quick, doesn't it, really? When you think about it, I've not said anything yet. I'm trying to think, if you hear a little bit of buzzing, it's just a laptop. I can't really avoid it, I'm afraid. Unless I could use the iPad. That might be another way. Oh, that's not even showing up. That's on us. Every now and then, right, the iPad has a really low screen, like dim screen. So I have to turn it off and turn it back on again to get it back to being bright again, because it won't allow me to adjust the screens, you know. I want to just, I'm just trying to think what else I'd like to. I suppose I mean, if I don't know how to say this. I know how to say it, but I don't know really what I mean when I say this. But I suppose it's not a bucket list thing, and I'm not desperate, and I'm not kind of looking either. But to have someone to love, or someone that loves me, like romantically, I'm talking about. By the way, that was my voice going. I'm not crying, okay? Thank you. Just someone to love me. Sound like a muppet when I did that, didn't I? That'd be nice. Romance. I can't even remember the last time I had anything even comparing romance. Really. In fact, probably 2006 was probably the last time I had any kind of romance. Like going away, staying in a hotel, that kind of, so it's been 19 years. I've, had a few things, had some relationship-y stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe potentially that would be at the top of the list, but I think it's one of those things. I'm not going to meet someone if I stay indoors all the time. But as I said, I'm not looking. I'm not kind of, and I've got a mirror, so I'm well aware that I'm getting crumbly. I am. I can actually watch myself in the mirror age in real time. It's kind of weird. So I don't know, just probably those two things, and move somewhere nice. And there's nothing wrong with living here. I mean, I'm lucky to have this place, but maybe somewhere with a garden, somewhere where Vinny can run around. Maybe, but maybe this is it. This is where I'm going to be until, and then that's it. Who knows? Yeah, so I've tried to be. I'm too honest sometimes, but yeah, I think that's it. It'd be nice to have some kind of love, to experience love in my life. I haven't experienced it. I've not felt it. So it'd be nice to actually felt it once in my life. So that's one. It's not at the top, but it's there somewhere. So that's Hope, Rich, and Robin. Ing asks, "Do you get easily upset, or do you get easily upset, or are you more of a laid-back type?" What do you mean upset? Do you want an honest answer? I would say generally I'm a laid-back person. I like to think that would come across in the recordings. I'm quite, fairly laid back. But I do also, because of the various things going on as far as mental health, I can be a little bit exaggerated in my feelings, my internal feelings. But it's rare, actually, for me to be anything but quite laid back. Externally, that is. So even if I am, I don't share it. I'm not one of these people going around just being nasty to people. It's just never been me. So I wouldn't necessarily express how I'm feeling inside to outside people. And I'm in quite a good position to stay away from people if I need to. Like in the past, I didn't have that luxury, and I'd go to work and I would get in trouble for things I said or my attitude, because I didn't even know what mood I was in until I got to work and someone said something. And this is what I would get a lot of, is on those days when I wasn't kind of in a good space, constant people saying, "What's wrong? What's wrong, Juicy? What's wrong, Juicy JJ? Nothing. But you're not acting yourself. What's wrong? You don't seem like yourself today. What's wrong?" And that would make me really, that would wind me up. It's almost like if I wasn't super friendly, people couldn't understand what's going on. So I think I'm generally a laid-back type of person. Friendly, conversational, but at the same time shy, and I struggle to be around people. And if I am all conversational and friendly in a kind of group interaction, it exhausts me, and I come back and I have to go to sleep. I can do it, but I can't have conversations generally that last more than an hour. That's about my limit before they have to go or before I have to leave. And I find I'm a bit of an oversharer, because so then I think when I get back, oh, why did I say that? Why have I told everyone that? And there was no need. And, so yeah, I'm quite laid back. But I do think there's a lot more going on inside my mind than it looks like from the outside. Because, I'm a fairly slow talker. I would say not articulate, but I'm pretty careful with my wording these days. And yeah, my mind's a lot faster than you would think, because I'd walk very slowly and do everything slowly. I don't rush in any way. Vinny's trying to get my attention. He doesn't need my attention. You don't need my attention, Vinny. You're going to wind me up in a minute. I'm going to start getting angry and shouting. Arr! Yes, I am. So stop it. You've already been out twice. We'll go out again in a minute. We've got another 10 minutes before it gets dark. 20 minutes. Outside, that is. So I'd say I'm quite a laid-back type. But he's laying on his back. Stop it, Vin. So yeah, Ink, that's my answer to that. One more question from Joanne. Hi, still really enjoying your podcast. One question for you. Do you put a coat on Vinny when you go out walking? He has worn a coat. I got one knitted for him last year, I think it was. But he's very highly strung. As a little dog, he's very highly strung. And sometimes he just won't move. If everything isn't exactly how he wants it to be, he won't budge. He'll stand on the bed, and I'll pull him, and he pulls the bed along with him. I don't know how, he digs his feet right in. Does the same when we're in the park. Sometimes I need to get back, and I'm pulling him, and he digs his feet into the park, and I get home and I've realised half the park's inside my living room. Oh dear, that visual just made me chuckle, sorry. Got a football pitch in my bedroom. So it's weird. Some swings in the bathroom. So, alright Vinny, I did think about getting him like a coat, you know, so when it's raining and stuff, but he doesn't seem to care about the rain. I do dry him off when I get back. I always dry him off because he hasn't got a lot of hair. He's got very short hair, but still I don't want him to get a cold or anything. But I would like to dress him up in like some kind of Christmas costume, just to humiliate him, really, if nothing else. I did that with Andre, and it was snowing, so it was in December, it was snowing. He had little antlers on, so he was dressed as a reindeer, and he dug into the snow and he came out, and all the costume was gone. Never saw it again. Gone. And he looked at me as if to say, that's a warning. Don't ever do that again. He said, come on. I had to follow him. That's when I used to take Andre out for walks. That's when I had Andre. Honestly, he really didn't like being dressed up. And Vinny, I think Vinny deserves to be dressed up. That's what I think. Because he's a naughty boy sometimes. He's also beautiful. He's just a little bit whiny at times. That annoys me. But yeah, I'm laid back. I would say I'm laid back. How I am on these podcasts is kind of how I am in real life, I would say. I'm not like putting on like a different personality, I would say. In fact, if anything, I can be more myself when I'm recording these, because I've got no distractions and I don't have to put on any airs and graces or try and be, or a facade, or try and be something I'm not. I can just be honest and just be me, which involves doing silly voices sometimes, but that's what I do when I'm on my own anyway. La 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 la. See, just stuff like that. It's nice. It's a nice thing to do. Of course, I'd normally be dancing and spinning on my head, but can't do that when I'm doing a podcast. Can't do that. Can we, Vinny? So, on that sexy note, I'm going to go. So I'd like to say thank you to Hope, Rich, Robin, Ing and Joanne for your questions for today's Q&A Friday. And 1, 2, 3, 4, that is, it's all done. So thank you for listening. I will edit this and hopefully upload it tonight. It's just before 6 o'clock, so I should be able to get it done tonight. So thank you for listening. I will be doing Sunday's papers on Sunday. And I will also be doing Monday's boring objects next week, and Trivia Tuesday and Whisper Wednesday. Saturday, which is tomorrow, I don't know. I might do a Saturday summary, I don't know. So at least the ones I'm looking to do definitely is Sunday's papers, Monday's boring objects, and Trivia Tuesday. Hopefully Whisper Wednesday. I wish I could say whisper without whistling. That's my dream. Although, if I did have a genie, to give me wishes, that's not one of my top wishes. No. There is one particular wish, but I'd have to be very, very specific. You know? You know, it's just like, yeah, I need to be specific. Like measurements. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you for listening. remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. Be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye.